I'm very sorry that I cannot be with you in Andalusia. Currently I'm in a hotel room in Yaoundé in the Cameroon, but I did want to send you a short message to say how much I'm sorry that I cannot be with you. I think in talking about where geography is, perhaps four things in this very brief video that I'd like to share with you. One, I've always believed that geography has a unique place amongst disciplines in that it brings together everything we understand about being human with everything we understand about the physical world. Traditionally, one of the main themes in geography has been about that interaction between people and the physical environments in which they live. I tend to think that that has often got lost in contemporary geography. We tend to focus on, we're a soil scientist, or we're into some aspect of cultural representation, and that fundamental integration between the physical and the human, and we are physical as well in our human bodies, tends to be lost. So I hope that there's going to be some interaction there, because geographers have a key role to play in some of the most critical areas of concern in the world. Climate change, and that's, for example, at the heart of geography. Sustainability, all these things are critically important, and other disciplines are now just beginning to realise that. A second area that I think has always fascinated me about geography is what one might call the difference that a place makes. Things are different in different parts of the world. I don't know quite what the temperature in Andalusia is at the moment, but it's certainly very hot and humid here in Cameroon. So what is it that makes places different, and how does that have impact on our shared understandings? And certainly, as I increasingly have travelled many parts of the world in the last couple of years in my new role, I see these differences as being really, really important, and we need to begin to understand each other much more. But differences can be at a local scale. So, what about living in this particular place? How does that change our experiences of the world? And that's also interesting in an increasingly joined up world where video communication, we can talk to anyone, anytime. So the first one is physical human interaction. Second is this idea of the difference that place makes. But I think in my own worked experience, I've always been fascinated too by other intellectual journeys, and we tend to have lost in much discourse the old Renaissance view that we can draw on different ideas from different parts of the world. And in my experience, certainly in the UK, there's tended to be an increasing concentration, and an individual academic makes their career in one particular area. I remember when I was a young academic, my head of department said, Tim, make yourself the expert in one particular field, and do that for all of your life. I've never done that. I've enjoyed moving from studying the wine industry to rural development in poor parts of the world today, to what we're now working on in terms of information and communication technologies, because you get those fascinating interactions. And that's tied in, I think, with aspects of interdisciplinarity. Geography has always been an inherently interdisciplinary subject in its own right, the physical and the human. But we can explore other adventures with other disciplines as well. So my third plea, I think, would be give yourselves opportunities to explore the richness and the diversity of intellectual inquiry, not just focusing on one particular area. And the fourth final thing I would say is I've always enjoyed the writings of and been stimulated by the thoughts behind critical theory. And many of you will know that I've been a great admirer over many years of the work of Habermas, particularly actually his earlier works. And I think I take two fundamental things away from that I hope many of you would also share. Firstly, that there's an important interaction between theory and practice. That can be interpreted in lots of different ways, but in my life I've tried to make it that we do brilliant research, but at the same time make sure that we are embedded in the real world of which we're a part. Being an academic is an incredible privilege. We're part of society, set apart from society to understand it. And that gives us a real need to go beyond just mere what is there and understanding, explaining it, but also going much more into the normative, what should be. and it's important for academics to get out of their universities and engage in the real world, engage in actually making the world in which we're living a better place. And another aspect of Habermas's work that I've always been inspired by is this understanding that underneath all knowledge there are interests. Knowledge isn't something that's pure, science, there are underlying interests that make it the way it is. And we need to understand those interests and be open about them, because only through so doing can we actually begin to move towards changing the world. So those are just 4 things I'd like to share with you. The first, that let's still maintain that interest between the physical and the human that to me has been at the heart of geography for many decades. Secondly, geography is about the difference that place makes, and understanding that and helping people in different places to understand each other and create a better and more peaceful world. Thirdly, let's not just focus on the tiny areas, but let's regain some of that Renaissance excitement of bringing ideas from different places and in one person having a range of ideas and interests. That isn't easy, but some of us, I think, still need to do it. And finally, the importance of critical theory in geographical practice, both in terms of theory onto praxis, but also in the underlying interests that knowledge have. Once again, from a hot and humid Cameroon, I wish you well in Andalusia, and I'm only sorry I cannot be joining you. Have a great, great event. Thank you.